Guys, we're excited. Let me introduce ourselves formally. I'll start and then I'll pass it off to Zach. My name is Blake. I'm a senior customer success manager with the team. So if you're a current customer, which a lot of you probably are, you work with me or maybe one of my colleagues. And so typically I'm helping, as you're using Concord, helping you get the most value out of it. Zach?
Yeah, I see a lot of people I already know, so it's good to see everyone. I'm Zach Kinsey, head of sales here at Concord. It's been 10 years now on this Concord journey, which is crazy. I love all things Concord. I'm excited to show you this today. What I'm much more excited about is I've got the first view of our new Horizon platform this morning. We're going to be actually demonstrating that at a trade show in Las Vegas next week. We're going to a legal trade show. So we will be showing that to all of you very, very soon. Probably in the next few weeks here, we'll be doing some webinars. So I'm very excited about that. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about how we can manage contracts like a pro. And the great thing is the kind of the core features of Concord are going to be staying there with our new Horizon platform. It's just going to make that even easier to manage in the future. But the great news is like all the stuff will still be there. So it will all be applicable as we transition over. Great. Alice, I don't think is going to introduce herself, which is totally reasonable. It's very late for her in France, so no problem at all. Blake, do you want me to jump in?
Yeah, why don't you take it over if you're ready?
Absolutely. Happy to do it. Great. So yeah, I see a lot of people in the meeting here. Most of you have been using Concord for quite some time, so that's awesome. I'm going to go through a few of the basics today to talk about the best practices for managing contracts in the system. A lot of the stuff you probably already know, but maybe there's a few tips and tricks that you're not aware of. So I will highlight those things. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. If there's anything that you just want us to cover today, because we do have 30 minutes on the call, feel free to put that in there as well. And we're happy to tackle that as they come up. Cool. So on my screen here, this is Concord. Hopefully you all are very familiar with it at this point. And if you're not, reach out to me. Happy to give you a demonstration. The first and foremost thing with organizing documents in Concord, there's two main ways we organize things. Number one is through folders. So you're going to be able to come in here and create all your folders in the system. And I'm going to actually run through permissions in Concord really fast, just because it's a good refresher to kind of understand how it's actually all set up and how we organize things in the system. So the way Concord works, we're first going to set up our users in the tool. You can invite them in. Some of you probably are using single sign-on for this. Others are just inviting them in directly into the system. You then can put them into teams or groups. I like to always make sure that I have teams in my Concord account. The reason for that is as you're moving into the folders, you're going to be able to easily bulk move groups of people into groups of documents. So it's always nice to have those teams set up in the system. And the other great thing about teams is if somebody were to leave the organization and you replace them with someone new, if you're just moving that person in and out of that team, then guess what? All their document access rights are going to be the same. So Blake, have you seen that be helpful as you've seen people have users
Yeah.
come and go?
Yes, absolutely. Just like you said, it's helpful for that, and it's like it's one of those things that I think if you have a lot on your plate, and if you are just onboarding to Concord, I say let's focus on some other things that Zach's gonna cover here in a second, but it definitely can be a helpful tool to kind of come back to and just make your life a little bit easier.
Yep, absolutely. So teams are important. We then have the roles here in the system, and I get a lot of questions about roles. Actually, I just had a chat today with a current customer, and they're like, we don't understand viewer seats because it's making it seem like we can't actually add them for free. A lot of the Concord plans, I'm not going to say all of them, but most of the Concord plans allow for free viewer seats. And what that allows you to do is invite anybody in the organization that should be able to come in and have like read-only access in the system. They can also receive deadline alerts if they're a viewer in the system as well. So those viewer seats are great. Basically, it just allows you to give access to documents as you need to. We have our collaborators, creators, team managers, and admins. So these are the standard system roles in Concord. They're going to be in everybody's account. You'll see we also have these custom roles down below. And the custom roles are great because if you want to come in and be like, hey, I want this user to be able to do this specific thing, but not this other thing, you can really customize those here in the system. So not going to go too far into depth on this today, but just know that the roles are here and they're important. If you do not see any of this in your account, it's because you're not an administrator. So if you do want to make changes or add to these things, you'll need to get with your administrator to do this. As far as folders go, we're going to talk a lot about folders today and how we organize things and give access rights in the system. So this is where your folders get created inside of Concord, and you can create both main and subfolders here. And the idea is, I've got like, for example, this HR folder, and then within that HR folder, I've got my benefits documents, recruitment, training. Maybe you want to have like all your employee agreements. Most of the people that I talk to that are using Concord today, they maybe start out with a specific set of documents like, hey, I just want to manage all my vendor agreements or NDAs or something. And then as they start getting into Concord, they realize like, oh, this is unlimited documents. I could put as many documents in here as I want. And we see them really start using it with other teams, or groups across the organization. And so whether it's IT, legal, marketing, ops, procurement, R&D, sales, like these are just all different teams and document types that you could be managing here in the tool. So creating and kind of building out your folder structure is really important. Some of you may still be on the tags for organization. I don't think many people are still on that on this call for sure, but some of you may be on tags. We are transitioning everything to folders, and that's going to be the way that we work going forward. So there's really two main things that folders help with. Number one, just organizing. And number two, document access rights. So if you wanted to be able to choose and limit who gets to see what in the system, for example, I'm a salesperson. In a lot of our My Concord, like our live account, I only have access to like the sales agreements and the NDAs. That's what I can see. And so you can set it up to where maybe you have certain people or certain teams where they should have that limited access right. So you can do that here in the system. Blake, what do you want to add about folders? What are some important things to know about and to think about when you're setting up folders?
Yeah, I mean, I think knowing how those subfolders work, I think is really important. Also, a common question that I have is like, hey, if I share access to an individual document, will that grant access to the folder? And no, it will not. I'm going to pick and choose, cherry pick some common things that I have. But another thing, what I really want to focus on as well is that I love this view that you're on when we're talking about kind of setting up folders, because where Zach is at, as he said earlier, is like this administrative view. You can do things from your home page if you want to like add some folders or create them, but I really, really, really love having this view for those folders so that you can create those subfolders that will be inherited if you have access to the parent folder and things like that. So anyway, and then I do see someone coming in the chat talking about tags. They're not going away. Tags are staying around,
They're not
but
going anywhere.
they're not going
I'll,
anywhere.
I'll explain what I was
Yeah.
saying. So a long time ago, those of you that have been with Concord for a long time, all of the access rights in Concord used to be based on the tags. We call the tags for access. And then we transitioned to folders for access about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Tags are not going anywhere. They're always going to be in Concord, but we don't use the tags to determine access rights in the system like we used to. So the tags will always be there. We actually have some cool auto tagging coming with the AI. We're actually going to be expanding what we're doing with tags. We're not taking them away. So don't worry
Yeah,
about that at all. That's for sure. Cool. Should we move on from here?
I think so.
Awesome. This is the tagging. We've been talking a lot about tagging. Tags are great. We actually also have another thing called custom properties, which are also
Mm.
really important, which we'll talk about in just a minute. Tags are just kind of a simple way to say, hey, this is what this document type is, or this is a specific thing about this document that we need to know. Tags are nice because you can filter by them, you can report based on them, you can do all sorts of things. So, that's going to be the tags here in the system. So the other thing that I like talking about is once we have a document that is fully signed, you can jump into that document and take a look at a few things. Number one, the folder is here at the very top. And as you can see, this document is currently in my personal folder. Blake, I feel like I should let you tackle the difference between a personal and a shared folder. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. Yeah, I'll do my best. I think I have it down. I know how it works, but I think I can explain it well. So I'm going to start in anyway. Personal folder is, think of it as the lack of a folder, the lack of a destination. It sounds confusing, but it's like whenever you upload a document, it has to go somewhere. And so we put it in your personal folder. One thing that people get confused about a lot of times when they see personal folder, they think of they also think they might have an opportunity maybe to create their own organizational structure in there. That's not how we work on Concord because these folders that Zach was creating earlier are shared folders. They're public folders. They're granting access in bulk to documents. They're accessible by the entire organization. And so there's not a way to personally like organize your documents. Rather, if you upload a contract, it'll start in your personal folder. But the idea is get everything into one of these shared folders that Zach's talking about so that they can be accessed in bulk by other people, by the groups that need access to them, and so on. I don't know, Zach, how do you feel? Anything you'd add there?
Um, yes, I wouldn't add a whole lot, other than just make sure you don't have documents in your personal folder, especially if they're signed, because probably other people in the organization want to see them too. So I would just say try to keep that personal folder clean. I have seen some people use it just for like their drafts when they're not ready to like kick off a document to other people yet, but as a rule, I like to always just say, don't keep it in a personal folder. Just always have it in a shared folder. Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
that's a good
easy.
way to say that.
As far as like putting it into a folder, so this is an order form here. I'm going to come down into sales. I'm going to go ahead and throw that into my accounts folder, and that's how we move things here in the system. And so now only people that have access either directly on the document, when I click on the share button here, I could come in and specifically add someone to this document or team. So either someone who has direct access on the document level or someone who has access to that folder, those are the people that can see this document inside of Concord. So that's how the permissions work, document level and folder level. So that's how we set it up there. I see a question here. Can you add document types? There's no option for a memorandum of agreement. That's a great question. You're talking about the additional adding to our list, basically. Blake, have you heard any updates on this?
I have not heard any updates though, but we're still fighting the good fight.
Yes, we have been putting in requests for additional document types. When we move to Horizon, that will kind of like take away the need for this because the AI will be doing things differently, but we'll continue to push for those, and this is one we can add to the list. We have a
Yep.
memorandum of understanding, but we don't have agreement here, as you can see, so, yep. Um, awesome. Can you add someone by the sheriff button to get a copy of the fully signed contract once finalized? Yes, if you add somebody to the document during the negotiation process. So let me jump in. I'll show you what that question is referring to. So let's say that we're on a document here. This document is about to be signed by all parties. It's currently in the signing stage. If I were to come in here and add someone to this document, let's say that that's going to be Olivia, then Olivia will automatically get a copy of it once it gets signed. It'll be in her inbox. However, the other way to manage this is if you were to just have this in the right folder, let's say it's in the sales folder, and Olivia had access to the accounts folder, as soon as that document's signed, they also will have access to that in the system as well. So that's how that's going to work. But if you do want them to get an email telling them like, hey, the document's signed, they do need to be added to the document before the contract gets signed in the system. Anything to add there, Blake? Is that all making sense?
I think that was perfect. I think it was well said. I guess we have a question here. Is there a way to email a finished document from Concord? So this is an interesting question, right? Because the way that we view like documents in the sign stage is that they're internal only. So what Zach was explaining is that once a document is like fully signed and moves from that signing to the sign stage, it will send an email copy. So that will happen. But after the fact, after it's in that sign stage, if you want to share it externally at that point, maybe with someone else, or you want to resend a copy, you'll have to export it. You'll have to download it. We keep that shared or that saved signed document internal only. So I hope that answers that last question we just saw in the chat.
Yep. Yeah, so you'll just need to download it and send it out basically. Either add that person to the document if they're internal, but if they're external, you'll just need to come in here, click export, download it, and then send it out. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. A couple of things to highlight because I think we have some time here. Well, Blake, is there anything that you want me to go into next?
I don't think so. Yeah, I like where I think I know where you're going, so I think that's a good place, but I like it.
Cool. Well, I don't know where I'm going, so I'm glad you know.
Oh,
Glad you know
sorry,
where
I
I'm
thought,
going. No.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Where did you think I was headed? That's the question.
yeah, well, I guess what I was, what a good place maybe to go as well is, if somebody's asking about document types and we've talked about tags, maybe we could go into like properties because, one thing that people, also like to do here, if we talk about organizing your documents as well, is that view that we had there was like with the inbox, you can add columns there and, putting your documents in the right places is really good, but also organizing your repository so that it works for you is another good and important thing. And so, if you want to see those document types or if you want to see your tags, you can add columns to this view here via that button up in the top right that he's doing. You can add any of those columns. And so, one thing Zach was teasing earlier that you guys, I'm seeing some common webinar attendees, and also, like Zach said, we talk with you a lot, so you've probably heard us talk about properties, especially you tags users. We do want you to use properties because I like them a lot, but you can add those custom properties and see those as columns here as well. So, I don't know. Do you think it'd be worth going into those, Zach, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a few things to touch on. First of all, let me tell you this. Do yourself a favor. If you have an AI enabled plan with Concord, come into the drop down here and turn on the AI button, and then just move it over to the far left. The reason for that is then you can make sure that every document that's in there that you're currently looking at in your inbox, you can see if the AI has been run on that or not. That's what this little lightning bolt is. The ones that have the lightning bolt, it means the AI has already extracted the details. The ones that don't, it hasn't extracted them yet. And you can come in here, you may or may not know this, you can select documents through your inbox. I can come up to actions here and I can extract that key data all from the inbox. So you do this and behind the scenes, it's gonna go ahead and pull out those AI data fields and put them into the agreement. So just one cool tool tip there. The other thing from here is, like Blake was saying, you can go ahead and customize this view. I've You'll find old YouTube videos of me from 8, 9, 10 years ago. They're kind of cool because you get to see like Concord back then, and it looked very different. But I've had about a million different views with my inbox, and I probably change it every single day because people ask me a lot of questions. But it's just so nice to be able to move things around and really get it configured the way that you want it. I was on a customer call the other day and they had like really specific fields on their inbox and it was all like very organized, which I love. I'm an inbox zero person, so it's great. But what I like to do in my actual Concord Live account is I only keep the stuff in my inbox that is like really pertinent, really important, the stuff that I'm currently working on, and then everything else I archive and I access it through my folders and I access it through my search. And that just kind of helps me stay focused and stay working on what I need to. But yeah, just being able to add your different custom properties into your documents, and then you can add them to this view as well. So the way that you do that is here under automations, you'll have your custom properties field. So I've got that here in the system. And I can add any kind of property that I want. We have lots of different options. So like, let's say that I want to add a customer, let's do this. Let me do a multiple choice one. So let's do priority level.
Yeah, and
And so I
these
can come, go ahead.
I was just gonna say kind of what he's doing. I was gonna, if you were gonna spend some time building those out, I could kind of add some color here while you're doing that. So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the most popular fields that he's doing, what he's building right now, is like a drop down field. So if you like the document type, but you maybe want your own custom views, you can come in here and he's doing a multi-select drop down. We also have text fields and things like that. So many different like field types and values. And what's really cool, it's not, don't go in here thinking, oh man, I need to think about the how it's going to report or how it's going to filter, but just note, pick the right field that works for you and know that it's going to have some unique and independent reporting functionality. It's going to be pretty cool. Like a currency field, for example, will let you see amounts greater than $50,000 or 49.99, right? You can do some really cool things and custom stuff there. So sorry for interrupting. I just thought maybe it could be helpful while you were doing that one.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's exactly what this is for, is just being able to build out whatever fields you want. Like here, I've got all sorts of like different types of fields, currency, single select, multi-select numbers, all that's here. And then inside the documents themselves, so like let's say I jump into this agreement here. I can go ahead and add in those properties now. So let's say, hey, I want to look at all my contracts that have a specific data point in them. So I'm just going to go to add property here. Now I have all the different options, and these are all created, by me, custom in the system. So maybe I want to come in and say, hey, what is the risk level of this agreement? I have my different options here, and then I can go ahead and save that. So now that I have that property in this document, when I go back into my inbox, I can add that risk level as one of my different options here to see. So I'll come in and put that risk level here as a field. So that's going to be here on the far end. I can move that over. And then the other thing that I can do is I can even filter by risk level. So I'll come in here to custom properties filter. I'm going to say risk level, and then I can choose the value here being low. And so now I have a filter of every single document that has that row list, the low risk level in the system. So it's just a great way to be able to track the data, filter by data, find the documents that you're looking for in the system. I see a question about doing some reporting capabilities, demoing that, and I'm happy to show that. Blake, anything you want to add before we jump into some reporting?
No, I think it's good if you start building these out now, especially if you are on those AI-enabled plans, you're just going to kind of superpower your repository. So just start building it out. If you are a tags person, let me convince you why properties are better. Uh, Especially if you can even fly out here. We'll get you some barbecue. We can have a talk about it. And we can talk about tags, or properties. But anyway, I just am a very big properties fan, especially if you are on an AI enabled plan.
Absolutely. Let's talk reporting. There's lots of reporting options in Concord today. We do have those inbox filter views that I was showing you earlier. The cool thing with these inbox filters is you can actually turn them into reports. So you could actually come in and say, hey, maybe I want to look at all my contracts that are over a certain dollar amount. So I'm going to go here greater than, and I'm going to say like 20,000. And so I can pull up my list of all my documents here. I can actually save that as a report, so I can give it a name and description, and that gets added to my custom report builder. So that is over here. You click on reporting, and I now have this custom report builder that's in the system. So if I save reports from there, that's where they're going to get added. This does have typically a few kind of standard reports in it, but this is where you can come in and just build out pretty much whatever you want. So I've got my filter view here. I can filter down to specific criteria. I can also add different columns here based on the fields I have in the system as well. And then you can save these reports. You can also export them out into an Excel spreadsheet. So that's going to be how we create like a custom report in the system. We do also have our analytics dashboard. That's going to show you total number of documents over time, how many contracts you have and where they're at in the process. This one is cool because you get to see how many you create each month and where they're currently sitting. This is my demo count. So as you can see, I don't have very many signed contracts. I have mostly things that are in review, but that's what that is. How many contracts you're signing per month and the number that are expiring or ending per month as well. And the last one's kind of nice because I can actually forecast this into the future. I can push it out and say, okay, which months are going to be the busiest for contracts renewing or ending. Once again, it's a demo account, so I don't have a lot of data here, but in your account, you'll be able to see, okay, these are the months that we have the most contracts that have those end dates or renewing, in them. So
Yeah.
that's that. And then the last one here is just the activity tracking, be able to see who's doing what in the system. This is a permissionable item, so you're not necessarily going to be able to see everything unless you're an admin, but you'll be able to see the activity there. So Blake, kicking it back to you. What other things you
Yeah.
want to?
I guess one thing, maybe if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to kind of talk about like deadlines. I know it's kind of reporting, but one thing I know this customer that's asking for for the reporting is very interested in like shared reports as well. And so we're coming out with shared reports. I know we've already talked about that, but I think it's at least maybe worth covering sort of those deadline views as well and how you can share those because that's sort of a report as well. So I guess would you mind going into that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the deadlines are all set up on the individual document level. So with the AI, we will extract those automatically. You also have the option to just manually fill these in, no problem. So it's going to keep track of signature days, effective duration, renewals, and then early termination notice if one is required for the contract. So they get set on the individual document level. Once a week, we're going to send out to you an email that's going to show you all the upcoming deadlines. For most of you, this is, you're seeing this every week, you're well aware of it, but it just shows you all the upcoming deadlines in the system here in the upcoming near future. And then the other thing that we have is the actual calendar view for all the contracts. So you can come in here and just take a look at like, oh, this is what's coming up, you know, next week, the week after, whatever. All that can be seen here in the system. So it's just a great way for me to be able to see like, okay, this month, these are the things I need to take care of. You can click on them and see exactly like you can go into the document if you want to, but it'll also show you the type of deadline that it is. So that view is here. And then what Blake was referring to is you can also create these shared views in the system. And so I can come in here and say, hey, I want to create a shared view for a specific team or group or department. And then you can like just have a specific view for them. So they're seeing the documents that they need access to. We do take it one step further where we can actually allow, like you can connect in your own calendar with this calendar view, meaning that if you're using like Outlook Calendar or Google Calendar, you can subscribe to your Concord calendar. And so all these deadlines will push there like automatically. You don't even have to like come into Concord to see them. You don't have to look at that email. They're just going to show up on your own calendar. Blake, you want to add some to that?
Yeah, well, it's actually the question in the chat is actually a great where I would go, right? It's like currently you're able to filter off like the type of deadlines and the kind of like the time frame, and you can create save deadline views based on that. But we're bringing very soon like custom filters also and custom properties to this deadlines view. So everything that you're familiar with in your inbox, you'll be also able to do in your deadlines page. So for example, this person asked, can I add internal contact person responsible for the contract on the deadline report? As of right now, no. Maybe this is a good time to kind of go into, I don't know, the roadmap too if you want, Zach, but like, yes, you will be able to soon as long as it's on your contracts. So that's the most important piece. That's why unlocking those properties is super, or using the properties is super important, is because you'll unlock additional functionality as well. So yes, you're going to be able to add your internal contact to or the person responsible for the contract on that deadline report and send them a personalized deadline reminder. Yeah. So can you add deadlines to the contract owner's own calendar? Basically, yes. Same answer to that question there. So yeah, we have some exciting stuff coming. It's going to unlock a lot of value there.
Absolutely. We're about out of time. I'm going to go ahead and transition to the roadmap. If you have more questions, put them in. No problem. We can go a little bit over if you want. I mean, no problem. But yeah, if you have anything else, let us know. If any of you have not seen this upcoming roadmap yet, I would highly recommend it. It's on our website here. You just go to changelog and then upcoming roadmap. And this is the introduction of our new Horizon platform. So for about the past 6 months, we've been building the future of Concord, which is Horizon. This roadmap will show you all of the things that are coming up in the near future. You can click on these and it'll show you exactly like what we're working on, you know, when we expect it to be released. But we have some really amazing stuff in here. We have the new AI powered search. It's actually going to be coming out here really soon. And that's going to enable you to, it's kind of like the co-pilot that sits on the document level, but it's for the entire platform. They're technically two different things. We have the search and we have the co-pilot. The search is just going to be much more powerful than the search we have today. You can get more specific with it. You can do different things. We have an MCP server. So if any of you are like super into ChatGPT or Claude or other AI tools, we're going to be opening up Concord to those tools. Of course, you choose to do that. It's not like we're doing that for everyone, but you'll have the ability to connect in your Concord instance into the MCP and connect that into other AI services. So yeah, pretty much we're redesigning the entire platform. If you scroll down here, you'll see the future view of Concord. So this is what it's going to look like. We will have both live or light mode and dark mode in the future. This is what that global search or Copilot is going to look like. And as you can see, the inbox is much cleaner, much simpler. It's going to be even snappier than it is today. I played around with it already. It's amazing. So yes, we're very excited about that. We also have the new reporting coming out where you can literally just ask it questions, tell it what you want in the box, and it builds the reports for you. It's amazing. So there's just all sorts of stuff that we have coming out here in the near future. And so come in and check that out if you haven't already, and you'll kind of see the future of what we're building here at Concord. Cool. Any other questions, let us know. Blake, you got anything else?
I don't have anything else. I think you covered it. I'm just going to put in my calendar link, and I imagine you will too. So if you want to reach out to us, or you know, whatever, we'll put our contact information in there. We're going to we would love to talk with you. So don't worry about who you're supposed to reach out to. Just reach out to one of us. We will put you in contact with the right person. But we are excited to chat with you guys. Excited about all the new features that are coming out. So yeah, let's chat and yeah. We'll actually, that's a good point. Everybody that's here should get a recording of this meeting, and anybody that RSVP that even couldn't make it should also get one. So there you guys go. We are excited to chat with you. We're thankful that you attended here today.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for using Concord. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Take care.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.